All right, we shall start and yeah, see how see that if might be a couple more people, but I think everybody's in. All right, so I'll say a few words and then we can just begin. Um, so all this wants to say is that all there is what's apparently happening. All there is what this is. All there is what is. It's just that. It's just this. I mean, that's everything. That's absolutely everything. It's everything and it's nothing. It's not something that can be grasped. It's not something that can be understood. It's all there is. It doesn't need to be understood. It doesn't need to be uh, attempted to be um, grappled with on any level because it can't be. It's impossible to grapple with this. We can't really talk about this because it's already everything. So, how can you talk about something that's everything? Usually, there needs to be a subject and object when you're discussing something. And there isn't such a thing as a subject and object. That's just all part of a kind of dream. There seems to also be a kind of dream that's going on, a dream that is apparently a me, apparently a contraction of energy, a kind of fever or a kind of quality of contraction in an apparent body, and that quality gives rise to a sense of separateness. And that sense of separateness is really quite difficult for this body for a body to manage because it's completely illusory. It's a completely illusory sort of dream world where everything is separate from this. And so that creates all kinds of strange ideas, which is the way that the world seems to be. The world seems to be very frustrated with this sense of separateness, with this sense of this delusion of being separate. And there's a constant craving, a constant desire to try to find what is longed for, try to find what the solution will be to get that something which is impossible to describe that is going to somehow allow this to join with that. There's always a seeking for that, apparently, until there really isn't, until that complete whole energy of seeking and trying to find something that's going to break down that gap, that's going to resolve that gap, until the entire seeking for the solution for that just completely falls apart. So what is left is simply just the end of seeking. All that's left is what is. It's just the end of an an illusion, the end of a dream where there is a sense of separateness. So we can talk about that. We can talk around that. We can't ever really talk about it, but this is an expression that's coming out of nothing. It doesn't have any intention or and can't possibly help anyone simply because there isn't anyone. There's nobody there. I'm not talking to individuals. This is just energy expressing itself. So we can talk around that. Of course, there's not going to be any solutions that are found here. There's not going to be anything that's found here, but the apparent expression of it, the seeming discussion of that, somehow seems to relax that which is that which is trying to seek, perhaps. Or for some people, it can also create even more turbulence. But there's no meaning or purpose to this. There's nowhere to go. This isn't trying to get anywhere. This can't get you anywhere because all there is what is. You can say anything. You can ask any question. There isn't any problem about any. We can just discuss this however comes. Yes.
Um, Hello, hi. um, but isn't there also an identification at all sorts of moments with what's going on with this apparent happening?
Well, identification only happens really when there's an apparent me. Me likes to identify with things. It likes to have it likes to be to have a sort of identity, to have a sense of I am, and to kind of wrap a whole load of ideas around that identity called my story. So there's a story which is all about identity. And identity is always about looking a particular way. It's a look.
Even if you listen to music, for example?
Well, I mean, if you listen to music, there's just listening to music.
Ah, yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't mean that there needs to be anyone. There's just listening to music.
Yeah, so then there's also no identification because there's no thing which is identified. It's just music.
Music seems to be happening, music can be happening and there's just music. There doesn't have to be music for anyone, but there can be music that's identified with and this and I don't know, like it can be the soundtrack to my life, you know. That's an identification in a way. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
When there's no one, there's just music as is.
And so everything happens naturally.
Or just all there is what is apparently happening, what seems to be happening. All there is what seems to be happening.
So there's not a goal or
No, well, there is for me. Me has a very is has a has me has a very strong goal of trying to get somewhere. It's very clearly trying to get somewhere. It doesn't really know what it is trying where it's trying to get, but it knows that there's a seeming longing to find what is missing. Something seems to be missing.
yeah, but sometimes it's some of these apparent things that you want to have or you want to do or
I mean, yes, there can be things that me wants to have and
yeah.
do, but what I mean, what do you mean by that? Sorry.
So I'm trying to imagine.
Yes, well, I think this is the point, is that you're trying to imagine what it's like when there is no one.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that is a complete fantasy. So that it's never going to be what there is imagined there. In a certain sense, well, what this is the end of the imaginer.
Okay. For now, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Lauren.
Hey, David.
Hi. How you doing?
Good. As soon as I started listening to you, I just started crying. Um, but I have this situation, like there's so much that you talk about that I feel has to do with the body. And I used to do a lot of practices, now I don't. I mostly just listen to this message and function in the so-called real world. But I have this thing happening where my nanny lives in my house and I can't sleep when she's in my house sleeping. Like I just can't. And it doesn't make any sense. But it's like I feel like I'm crazy uh because it's happening and I wondered if you had any comments on that.
Um, Not, I mean, that's what seems to be happening. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all I can comment on that, really. I mean, that's what seems to be happening. That's it's just what seems to be happening. There's that energy is just happening in that way. There's a disturbance of sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to. I don't know what to say in that sense about that. It just seems to be something that seems to be happening.
Yeah. It's like
Did you have a particular thing that you wanted to talk about in that with that in mind, or yeah,
yeah, just the I guess the way that the you know the realization or the statement that this is impersonal and there's actually no separate me can be relaxing, um, but that you know the existence of the mechanism of me is the opposite of relaxing. It's like being wired, um, and how does that play out in the body?
well, there's I mean that body you that body just go is just an animal. It goes towards pleasure and away from pain. That's what it does. There's attraction and repulsion. It's like a magnet. That's all. That's all that goes on. So then the apparent me can kind of interrupt that and get in the way of that because of all kinds of ideologies and thoughts that go on, which is about should and could and must and all kinds of ideas that go on in that sort of sense of contraction. It's a kind of strategy. Me as a strategist, you know. So yeah, there can be a sort of uh, an inability to go towards what is instinctive because me is buzzing around trying to get somewhere, trying to, solve things,
Yeah, well, I guess and so
apparently.
I would,
Of course.
yeah, I would say I'm very drawn to like something that is like the wild or the any explanation if one is needed that is very much just simple and maybe goes back to the animal qualities of the
Hmm.
body or and
Well,
so
this is very simple. This is very simple.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense to me that sleeping alone rather than with a person that you don't know, it just makes sense that to be safe you would be alone. Um, in a secure environment. Or there's other stories about when humans had to keep watch at night. You know, someone was awake and someone was asleep, and like there's all these stories. But in a way, they're
Yeah.
all of that is
I
just
mean,
stories
all of
because
those are stories,
yeah,
and all that there is really is that that body has got particular preferences, and it goes towards what it naturally goes towards. There isn't there isn't a right or wrong. There isn't a good or bad. It's just what seems to be happening. That body seems to like particular things. That's all.
yeah. I guess there's why would I come on this call and ask you about it? I mean, first of all, it's an illusion that I'm choosing this, but in the explanation, it is that I'm kind of trying to figure out which is the neurotic part, you know.
Yeah, but that's I think okay. Okay, again, you know, the all you will never find that neurotic part because it's the neurotic part that's trying to find itself. So it's
Okay,
this is the end of the analysis. This is the end of analysis. This is the end of seeking. This is the end of trying to find a solution. All there is what is. All there is immediacy. Just this immediacy. That's it.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure. Share.
Yeah, it's nice to see you.
You
I
too.
think to ask you, what is here than just this body, or what is there which is not that body? All there is this body. I
Yeah,
mean, all
yeah.
here is this
Is
body.
that a statement or is that a question?
No, I just ask that here is just this body. And what about there? There is not a body. If there is not a body, then what it is? And body is sure this body
No, no. Hang on a
doesn't feel.
second. Hang on a second. What's going on is that you're trying to work this out. You're never going to understand this.
No, it's not. It's a question. No, I know
Yes,
that
yeah,
I don't
exactly. No,
understand
no.
this.
But
That
what I'm trying to say is that it's a question about trying to understand whether there is a body or not. This is the end of questioning. This is the end of the process of trying to understand that. The process of trying to understand that to find a
oh,
solution to that
okay, I
is
know what you want to say, but you want to say that then is the best that you say. Shut up and listen.
no, no. It's
Why
I'm
do
not
you
saying shut up.
why
No,
you don't
there's
want to say that direct? Shut up and listen.
no.
Then I do understand it.
I'm not saying shut up and listen. What I'm suggesting is that what is going on there is an attempt to try to understand something, and
Yes,
this
what
cannot
else?
be
Yes,
understood.
what else? I don't have no any other instrument than this. This is the only instrument there is. There is no other instrument.
Yeah, me believes that. Me believes that all there is just the just
Yes, you call
self.
it belief or you call it whatever you want to say it, but this is what this is also. This question is you won't deny it. That
I
the question arise.
as I've said before, there is no answer to questions here. There is no answer. This does is not coming out of any kind of knowledge or
Yes, David,
understanding of something.
I do understood this in the first
Mhm.
time when I did listen to this message. That I do understood a long time ago. And I do love this message. There is no doubt about it. I don't doubt anyway. But what I want to say is that this message, why just this message, message don't say just shut up and listen. And then the body or the me or whatever it is, he might be a just listening and not a thought at all.
I mean, yeah, I've said what I can say about that, but thank you very much for your
Well, thank you
question.
very much. Thank you very much. Thank
Lindsay,
you. Thank you for nothing.
Lindsay.
Yes, hi, David. Can you hear
Hi.
me all right?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Um, could it be that the previous gentleman means not that you should shut up and listen, that we should shut up and listen to you, but since he says he understands the message, maybe it's, see, even if it was just shut up and listen in a general sense, just that would still be an observer, right? Yes.
I mean, ultimately, what it is that is what it is that is felt here is that there is a working out, an attempt to work out what this
Yeah.
is. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
That's all that's being expressed here.
Right,
So
right.
when there is an attempt to try to work out what this is, the response here is simply that that's impossible.
Right.
Yeah,
I get it.
that's all.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
my question actually was, that was just a comment on that, but since the character of David had the deep understanding of this message, deep, has it been
I mean,
surprising what has come up, like has caused maybe shock or humor, or is
well,
it
I mean,
more
the entire idea that anybody can have a deep understanding of this message is completely ridiculous. There is no one that understands what is being expressed here. No one can understand this. It is not, there is no understanding of this. There is no knowledge of this. All there is what is. All there is what seems to be happening.
right?
So there's the whole idea that somebody can have uh, you know 30 years of understanding this message is completely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
right.
This is constantly new. This is constantly just what is. It's constantly immediate.
Right.
It's just this. So there's no experience that has got any relevance to what is, because otherwise it would be this kind of hierarchy
Yeah,
ideology, hierarchy and
right.
there being somebody who had more understanding of this than somebody else. There isn't any understanding of it, and there isn't anyone to understand any of it. All there is what is.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. I guess if I when you look at like a moment, I'm just going to let's just talk hypothetically for a second then, so we can at
Yeah,
least talk,
now
right?
hypothetically, that's
Hypothetically,
kind of
right,
yeah, hypothetically, we're all automatically in a story, okay?
right. Okay,
Just to tell you that.
right. So this story is made up of moments. And when I look at trying to find a moment, that the beginning of a moment or an end of a moment, it's impossible. There's nothing to be found. It just is. And that's one of the things that attracts me to this message, is that it just is. There's no beginning, or there's no time, because there's no moment. It just keeps, like you said, it's fresh. It keeps changing. It just keeps being
Well, there's no
what is.
time.
But
Let's just leave it, make it simple, is that there's just no time. This is the end
there's
of
no time.
time.
And then, and that's noticed by no one.
That it's just the end of time. The question of whether there is someone or not ends. It's the
With
end of the questioner. This is the end of seeking. There's nobody there investigating. This is the end of the investigator.
So does that, by saying that there is no time, hard stop, then immediately all the rest comes with it. There is no investigator. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
all the same. It's all the same. All of
It
that
does.
is the same. When there's no time, there's no one.
And when there's no one, there's no time. So I guess it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Thank you. Love it.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye. Hi, Casey.
Hey, I don't really have a question. It's just expressing gratitude, and there's so much beauty in this sharing. Yeah, just in the ordinariness of it. It's like, yeah, so childlike almost. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is the Charles. Yeah, it's exactly the Charles. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to find, just playfulness in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Super beautiful.
Thank you so much, Casey. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, David.
Hi, Ollie. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Just touching on what Lindsay was saying there, in a way, like my sense is what we're talking about is the end of something that stands outside what is, that knows it, that
Yeah, yeah. A separate observer, perhaps.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There is no such thing.
Like if you wanted to just say the knowing of it is the absence of you, and it's not known, then it's just
It's
there's
unknowable.
yeah, it's just, I'm using that word in that way, but yeah, when there's nobody there objectifying it, it's just immediately what's happening. That's it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there that knows it, because there's nothing separate from it that wants to know it, because all there is it, and nothing separate from it that wants to know. Why would something, there's just what's appearing to happen, there's just what seems to be happening, immediacy, and obviously nothing then that wants to, because it's just itself. Why would it want to step outside of itself? Or how would anything, when there's only, yeah, what can step outside it then to know it? Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. It's impossible.
Mm.
There's no knowing. This is the difficult the conundrum for me, is that there's no knowing, and that's the antithesis of me. Me is all about trying to know, trying to find, trying to identify, trying to obtain something, and this is just the complete relaxation of all of that. It's the end of all that. It's just what is, and it's completely unknowable.
Like if you want to say, it's like, I know the words are clumsy, but it's actually more unknowable. It's the end of knowing, actually. Somehow
You
it
can't get
seems
more unknowable.
it's absolute, complete unknowable. There's nothing, it's the collapsing of the known.
Yeah.
It's absolute unknowability then, rather than, yeah. Because then when there's a person, everything's known somehow. It's a door, or it's just a chair, and then it's, when there's nobody there, it's an absolute mystery. Then it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And also the other thing about this is it's also the end of explanation. This doesn't need to explain itself, or for there to be a perfect way to describe this, because it will never be a perfect way. All that there is what is, and that is absolutely impossible to describe and never will be explained, no matter how many complicated words or large flowery words or long poetic statements you make. It is still what is, and completely unknowable. Nothing matters.
Like the end of separation is the end of the question. It's the end of seeking for.
Yeah, and it's the end of explanations mattering, explanations meaning something, things being important. What is being expressed here, is not important. It's the only thing, in fact, that isn't important. Everything else is really important because it's something to do with getting somewhere, and it's something to do with me. You know, that it's in the story. But this isn't important. God, that imagine that, something that isn't important. Hi, Laura. Sorry.
Hey, good evening.
Hi.
Hi, you know what is amazes me? Like right before I tuned in this meeting, there was so much going on. And the moment like something is energetically so different, and I cannot not deny I cannot deny that. There is a fundamental difference in that expression, what energetically. It's like so it's like it feels as if previously I'm walking through, I don't know, the desert, and now it's like being in the oceans, like like that's how it feels. Something is quenching a thirst here. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. And it's just nothing, there's nothing being expressed. There's nothing that you can, find it's not that this is, giving off a certain, it's something that is being got. This is actually the complete opposite. There's nothing that can be got here.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And now I have a more technical question. You previously, yeah. If I have the time for another question.
Yeah, sure, of course, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Yeah, I mean, technical question, but anyway, go for it.
So previously you said something like that the body is naturally going for its preferences and moving away from, I don't know the English word for the opposite of preferences, what it does.
Yeah, in a certain sense, yeah. It's sort of that body just is, it's attracted to its preferences, and it is repelled by things it doesn't like. It's an automatic function. It doesn't need a me involved.
Mm. And so now the two questions. One question is, do you think that it is possible that education, let's be it like parents, society, whatever, is somehow inhibiting the body to follow actually its preferences?
Well, I mean, the apparent me, the quality of me, is what all of that is born out of. Me forms society and culture and all of the things that you just pointed out. So essentially, all that we're describing is that state of contraction which then impedes the function of that body. Yes.
Hmm.
So it's another way of describing it is that it's a fever, and the fever impedes the function of that body. That's it. Apparently,
Mhm.
it's only apparent.
It's only
That's just this little story there, just describing it, because actually all there is just what is. All there is immediacy. There's nothing else. It's just what is.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You basically what you just saying is that actually there is no one trick pony going on.
There's no that I mean, well, no, it's just an explanation about the nature of what seems to go on. That sort of contraction seems to go on, but actually, in natural reality, you can say that all there is nothing happening.
Ah, yes.
This is nothing happening.
And what is your guess? Do you feel it's possible that this is actually the natural preference of a body? That quality, so to speak?
How do you mean? What?
Well, the thing is like this energy, this that nothing here, yeah, right here in this meeting, nothing is expressed, nothing is important, nothing is discussed. It's basically nothing happening, apparently happening, however you want to put it.
Mhm.
And could it be that actually that is the very natural preference of, let's say, everybody, so to
Well,
speak?
let's put it like this: that human beings seem to be very different from all other life on this planet and any life else that we we know, and so there is something quite strange about human behavior, and and that is that is if you look at that in relation to other plants and animals, there is a significant difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, certainly when there is no one, there is more relaxation. That body prefers a lack of tension than tension.
yeah,
That's all I can say about that.
yeah, and
It doesn't that doesn't get you anywhere. It's just
no,
this is just describing something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe it's like I feel like that whatever body is now like sitting in front of their screens is actually attracted to this kind of energy field where a kind of a relaxation, so to speak, is going on. And I feel that is like, yeah, it's just amazing for me that this is even happening, this kind of meetings. I don't know, like,
Yeah, I find it amazing as well. Yeah.
yeah, I can
It's
imagine.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
very, yeah.
yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks. Luke?
Hey, David.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. Good. Thank you.
Th thanks for hosting the meeting.
Sure.
Is there any room for I've come across this term lately, creator God?
No, there's no room for that. There's absolutely no room at all for creator gods of any kind. No, no. Because it's to do with creation. There's no creation or destruction. All there is what is.
So what would you say, you know how people get premonitions about things?
Yeah.
What's that? What's going on with what's that about?
I mean it's a sense.
A sense, yeah, like a sixth sense.
Yeah, it's a sense. Those bodies are very sensitive.
Yeah. And what about like synchronicities?
Well, synchronicity is kind of quite ridiculous, isn't it, really? Because synchronicity is this kind of thing, where people there's this realization that people sort of recognize, oh, that happened, and then that happened, and that was
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
connected. Well, yeah,
yeah.
more than that. Okay, it's not connected. All there is what is. Yeah, so
Oh, so connections are going to happen
well, I mean, kind of bound to happen, aren't they, really?
in the field of
There's
oneness.
just there's just what is.
Do you like that term, field of oneness?
Well, I mean, again, as you know, there are difficulties with that.
Because if there's a field of oneness, then there's something apart from the field of oneness.
Yeah, I mean, oneness,
Yeah.
I don't use that term oneness because it implies that there is an observer to that oneness. So it is something where there's an idea of two-ness, in fact. So it's not really a useful expression of this
You
doesn't
prefer,
enjoy that.
yeah, you prefer this immediacy. This immediacy.
I prefer immediacy. Yeah.
Immediacy, yeah. And do you think
Just because I mean, they're just words. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters about this at all. But these are just words that have a greater sort of resonance to what is being expressed somehow.
languaging?
Yeah,
Yeah. I always think of Tony when he said the carpet was carpeting.
yeah, yeah. Totally. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, it sounds like what do you think about the term acceptance?
I mean, the term acceptance again is something where there's somebody that needs to accept something, and what this is expressing is that there isn't anyone.
Yeah.
So
Same
there's
with
no
same with
possibility of, and it's also something which is about getting somewhere. It's also a path about getting to a point where I have accepted everything, and therefore everything's going to be fine.
yes. So surrender would be in the same basket, surrendering.
Surrendering is the same
Mm,
idea. Yeah, it's the
yeah.
same thing. It's all a path of getting somewhere, and what one person, but having surrendered more than somebody else. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm more surrendered than you. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
absolute
that
bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's
yeah,
just a game, of
yeah.
trying to get somewhere.
Do you
This is
think,
much more
yeah,
simple. This is much more simple than all of those kind of ideas and notions and all of that. All there is this, just this,
mm,
no addition, no subtraction. It's just what is. That's it.
yeah. Do you think I remember you saying that you didn't really ask Tony questions. You sort of sat at the back.
Yeah, I did.
In hindsight, do you think if you interacted with Tony a bit more,
Yeah, that was the problem. Yeah, I didn't interact with him enough. Otherwise, I could have sorted this out within a year. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter. The questions, as you can see here, questions never get answered. It's just that the questioner
you
is
tell me about
undermined.
it.
The questioner is undermined. It's
Yeah,
constantly the questioner that's undermined. That's all. There's no answer to any questions, And also, if one person can ask a question and it's what everybody else is thinking, You know, a lot of questions are very, very similar to each other, and all of them are about trying to find something, you know. So
So
very
you,
quickly, it was clear to me that there wasn't any point asking questions, which I was very frustrated about, but nevertheless was the case.
was there fear that Tony would, you know, like the strength of Tony's response, you sort of feared it, you know, the me feared that.
Not really, because
No.
in the end, I knew what he was going to say before it was said. You know, where
Yeah, okay.
it's kind of very obvious what the in a certain sense what the answers are if you're talking about it on that level. But there isn't, it's not about questions and answers. This is never going to be about questions and answers. This isn't about the power of the speaker. The speaker has got no power. This is nothing to do with the speaker. This is just, all this is just a response out of nothing.
To the seeking energy.
Yeah, it's not going to, it's not, it is, it's just nothing speaking. It's not trying to, that means that there's nothing that can be got, right?
Yeah.
You can't get anything out of this. So it's
Yeah.
completely, it's totally futile.
But we all keep turning up.
Oh yeah, of course, because that's what goes on.
Yeah.
That's what goes on. If there
Yeah.
weren't people, you know, asking questions, there would be no response here. This doesn't have a, you know, a huge there's without all this is response.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for your responding to me.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Luke. Thanks so much. Yeah.
David, I just wanted to ask you, just
Oh yeah, highly. Yeah.
from what Luke was saying there, like is that sense, like that sense of separation, like when Luke mentioned acceptance there, that would have to be something that feels separate from what is, that by accepting that somehow it's going to separately influence what is separate from it. Is that what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But
it's me apparently splitting itself into two and accepting something. Yeah. So I mean, the point is that it's all about me trying to get somewhere.
like, is it also the sense that something they're feeling that it's separate and has autonomy and will choose to accept this is isn't what's appearing to happen. It's something separate from what's appearing to happen that somehow can decide to accept separate from that. It's still that sense of autonomy somehow. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Well, I
trying to,
mean, that's quite that's quite yeah, that's quite that's quite hard to follow that. But I mean, all there is just the nature of attempting to try to accept something is just simply impossible. There is no possibility of accepting something or not accepting something, because that would mean that there is some sort of autonomy that there of a me that can go and do all of this. There isn't. The me has absolutely no, that contraction, that quality of contraction, that fever has got no power. It is just what it is. It is an impotent contraction. It is a quality of apparent contraction of energy, which is just doesn't. There's no power there. there's no choice. There's no center. There's no direction.
Like what I was trying to say there in a clumsy way, I don't know, like there's a lot of confusion at the moment, and it's like I'm running out of road, and it just seems it's like this sense of a personal energy in anything is going. And do you understand me? Like this sense of some autonomy somehow
Mm-hmm.
is sort of collapsing, and everything is impersonally just what seems to be happening. Really, it's the collapse of this sense that there's somehow a personal energy involved in it, directing it
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when there's a sense of separation, there's going to be a sense that somehow that separation or the individual feels like it has autonomy, it's autonomous, and it's pulling the levers and making decisions. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, me believes that it's in control. It isn't ever in control because it's just a sense of contraction, and there is no more to that. There's no control that energy that quality has. There's just what is. Me doesn't come into it. This is the end of seeking. This is the end of there being a questioner. This is the end of there being an attempt to find something.
Like when somebody mentioned like just God in a way, like what appears to be happening isn't being created. It's not becoming what's happening.
No,
Yeah.
no, there's no creation and there's no destruction. There's no birth and there's no death. There's just what is.
Yeah, I can't articulate it. It's all like, yeah. Like what seems to be happening is everything. Yeah.
All there is what is, yeah.
Mm.
So this is really simple. It doesn't require any understanding or attempt to try to work it out. It's just what it is. It's what's at the it's what's there when every attempt fails. Johan.
Was the conversation finished with Oliver?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So it seems to me like it's a falling away of hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the end of hope. Hope is very much tied to me contraction, that trying to get somewhere.
Just like forgiveness could be described as giving up. There's nobody to give up, but giving hope for a better past.
Yeah, I mean nobody does that, but there is a falling away of hope. Yes.
Yeah. And that goes for the past and for the future, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything it's anything to do with time. There is no time.
I was wondering, does the perceived ignorance about this immediacy ever move you?
Move me
Emotionally, so.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, in the sense that this is deeply natural and completely open. So it's very what is just alive. It's aliveness.
Yeah.
So in that way, I think yes. I don't. I think that I think that's what you mean, but I'm not sure.
I sometimes find myself crying about the unnecessariness of suffering in a way.
Yeah.
I found myself crying yesterday watching Trump speak in the Knesset, for both parties, because there are no winners ever.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, there can be that there can be sadness or something if something is seen or whatever, but in a certain sense that all of those things are sort of stories, you know, and this no longer really sees the they're just there is just a recognition that all of that is just story upon story upon story. There is a sense of the anguish of that for sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I think, David, just to tell you, like, there's just extreme frustration here at the minute.
Yeah, I got that.
Like, it's just because there's this sense of somehow, like, there's a slight memory, but also just I can't just. It's like it's just slightly out of reach. It's flickering.
Yeah.
Like, I see how simple it is somehow, but I can't articulate it and I know it can't be articulated.
And it doesn't, and most importantly, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's really a phenomenal thing, that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no explanation that is better than another. It doesn't matter if you explain this in a beautiful way or in an utterly ridiculous way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's just the essence of what is being expressed here is that nothing matters, that all there is what is. The what is longed for is already everything, so it doesn't need to be explained or achieved or gotten to or strived for or explained in absolute clarity. That's only clarity of the mind in a certain sense. It's not just this just the sort of collapsing away, the relaxation of the freedom of simply there just being what is, and there not needing to be any of that kind of explanation. That's amazing. That is amazing. All of that energy, you know. It's very tiring. Me is a tiring quality, apparently.
Like, in a way, there's not much interest to listen, and
no.
But then something comes in, and it's almost like the energy to listen and to work it out's dying down. But then something comes in and is still running to saying, "Oh no." It's that thing that feels it has autonomy, and by listening more and understanding more, that it's getting somewhere in a linear path closer or
it
further
latches
away.
on. It latches on and kind of goes, oh God, I've got to get it. You know, I found, you know, what was that? That I haven't heard that word before. Right. I'll hold on to that, you know. It's just the nature. There's nothing there's nothing to do. There's nothing for you to do here. That's just what seems to be happening. There's just that which seems to be happening.
It's like to something like the decreasing of seeking is a bad thing. It's saying, oh, this is a bad thing now, and it sort of wants to ramp up the seeking again. That because it's like, oh, this is just dying down. This is a bad thing, and then it just.
Well, yeah.
It's just a description. It's not.
Yeah. It could be. It could be that. Lindsay.
Hey again.
Hi.
Okay, so that I'm only coming back to try to learn how to be a better question asker.
No, there's no better. You can
Well,
ask whatever you want. There's no, honestly, there's no better or worse, really.
so that's exactly what I was just talking about with my question earlier, is when you just described that the whole and all the ramifications of nothing matters. And then about a female about 3 calls after mine, questions after mine, was talking about the beauty of there being, this teaching, these get-togethers, and you said you agree, you find it also beautiful. That is what I was.
Not the word teaching. I have to say the word teaching
Okay.
wasn't hard, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
But that was what I was referring to. So what happens? What seems to be happening now is David has a feeling. This character David has a feeling of, that's amazing that nothing matters. Those were your exact words on the last.
Yeah.
Right. So that's, I guess I just didn't ask it correctly, but that's what I'm saying. Is it something to where you just said the body prefers this relaxed state of nothing matters and just being more relaxed. Those are the type of things that I know turn up now, turn up freshly, turn up new. This is what now seems to be what is. I guess that's what I was asking earlier, is does David or any other character with the deep understanding of that nothing matters and all the implications of that, does that then, does what turn up as, okay, now this is what is, seem to be a lot different than what previously was is? Do you understand?
So,
or am I
mean, what I understand from your question is that what you're trying to do is to find out how it feels so that you can try to feel the same way, or that it's going to give you some sort of information as to how to get somewhere. Okay, it will not do that. It will not give you anything.
Okay.
But ultimately, again, this is not a deep understanding of anything. There's no understanding at all. This is the end of understanding. This is the end of trying to get somewhere. This is the end of seeking. All there is what is. All there is immediacy. There isn't anything to find. There isn't anything to get. There's just what is. And all the time that me kind of hears that, it doesn't like that. It wants to get something, and so it tries to find another kind of route round to try to get hold of it somehow, and that's just simply the nature of the me state. It's the nature of that apparent contraction of energy, which we might call the me, which just seems to latch onto stuff, and that's all it does. It just latches onto stuff, tries to and tries to own it, tries to hold on. It's just a mechanism, and that mechanism can apparently completely fall away.
I can see what you're saying. As long as there's me, there's seeking, and I can, and definitely guilty of trying to figure it out for sure.
Well, no, it's not guilty. That's the thing, is that there's no guilt at all. It's just that that's what the nature of seeking is. This is absolutely blameless. There's nobody doing that. There's nobody asking questions, and there's nothing that is responding. So there's no. It's just an illusion. It's an illusion. That whole idea of there being a real me, something called a me with a solid center, myself, that is just completely fictional. All it is a sense of contraction.
Is it wrong's the wrong word, but am I just fooling myself that I just feel such a sense of relief that there's
Well,
no
no, but that's, I mean, there's no fooling that. If that's what there is, that's what there is.
Oh, good.
So
That's
there's
good.
no, I mean, in a certain sense, this entire expression, this entire statement of what is, non-duality, if you like, is a huge relief to that body, because it doesn't, there's nothing to find.
Yeah, like
Oh
1000%.
shit, there's nothing to find.
Right. I mean, I've been working so hard, this and how many other lives before this, in the illusion.
In the illusion, yeah. Let's put an underline
yes,
that
yes,
all the lives before
in all caps.
underlined as a complete illusion. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry.
No, it's just, I mean, it's just the biggest your chest just heaves with relief. I mean, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's just, thank God none of it is true and nothing matters. I mean, you can't talk about it to anybody, right? It still feels like, shit matters, but
well, there isn't anybody, so it's okay.
Right. It's just, oh yeah, it's a good and it's a great feeling, because otherwise, there might be some serious trouble. All right, thanks, David.
Thank you so much.
Like what Lindsay was just saying there, David, in a way, like really there's a sort of it, right? So there's intellectual knowing somehow the concepts about what we talk about.
Yeah.
But really from my sense, like really what we're actually talking about is the complete end of the knower, separate from its end of knowability.
It's the end of somebody trying to find something, end of seeking. Yeah. All there is the end of seeking. Nothing to find.
Like in a way, language again is clumsy, but like when you're talking there, it's just a description of, would you say, like it's really just a description of what it's like when there's nothing there objectifying it. It's not a knowing intellectually, it's just describing the natural reality when there's nothing that feels separate from it. It's in no way intellectual at all. That way it's just
this is not an intellectual. This is not an intellectual message at all. This is not an intellectual expression at all. There's nothing intellectual about this. This is the child. This is the infant. There's no requirement to understand anything. This is known by everyone. Actually, in a very deep way, this is really recognized, that there is just what is, that everything else is completely irrelevant. That's deeply recognized, but completely covered over by me and the attempts to seek and to find a solution.
David, this is Nancy. Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Hi.
I just wanted to ask you, like when things show up, emotions or whatever, like when sadness just shows up, or grief, or happiness or joy in anything, would you say that that's still the story?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. There can be emotions that seem to go on, and that can, yeah. The thing that's the story is the thing that questions whether those emotions are part of the story or not.
Okay. And so I don't know, there was an idea here that when the energy of those things, let's say, shows up of sadness or grief or whatever it is, or even joy, whatever.
Yeah.
That energy shows up, and then there's an interpretation of that energy as being grief or sadness or anger or joy or whatever it is. I don't know whether, that's just, I guess that's just the self trying to understand. But
again, I think, yeah, I mean, what it sounds like is that there's something attempting to understand, trying
yeah,
to understand, what is, and trying to understand, whether the emotions are coming from a sense of me or not, and that then giving you a sort of reference point to understand whether you're closer or further away from apparent enlightenment. Okay, so that's the story there.
that's funny.
But the what is what the miraculous, wonderful thing is that there isn't any requirement for any of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. There's nothing that needs to be done. There's nothing that you need to try to fix or to try to get right. All of that is in a certain sense of sort of getting it right and making sure that I've got it right.
Mm.
You can't get this right. This is in a certain sense when trying to get it right dies.
Yeah, I don't care about getting it right. It's just I know what happens here, and that sadness and grief just show up on its own.
Yeah, well then that's just what's happening.
And sometimes happiness now will come, but there's just the ones with the most weight are grief and sadness. And they just show up, it just shows up. And
Yeah,
there's nothing
then that's just that is just simply what's happening.
yeah, there's nothing to do about it. It just
No.
But is that well, no, if I ask you another question about it, that I feel like it's just this
Inevitable.
just to trying to understand it, and there's no understanding of it. It just happens. It's just I can't I can't I don't know what to say. I can't grasp it. I can't put my arms around it. I can't.
No, it's very frustrating.
Yeah. But it's rather also rather interesting that happens. It's just and maybe even a miracle that stuff happens. Maybe even just that anything shows up is just amazing.
Okay. Well, I mean, it can be. It can be. Yeah. For no one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even know what that means for no one.
Well, no, but that's
Just
what I mean is that there's no when there is someone, then always the whatever there is not enough. There's always something that's missing. There's always something that's not quite not quite what I want. So these emotions are what is. All there is what is. That's all there is. It's just that emotion seems to be apparently happening. That's it.
Mhm.
And that is what is. That too is what is.
And I think something you said earlier kind of struck me too, is somebody, and I don't remember what it was now at this point, but somebody said something and you said something about body, or maybe they asked you if you felt something, and you said that the body is very sensitive. It, you know, I don't remember what they asked you, but something like that, that the body just is sensitive and feels those things. Or maybe they asked you about an intuition or a second sense or
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you have a question about that? Sorry.
I guess all of this came kind of arose from that, like the body senses something, but is that because of the filter of the self,
Yeah,
or
I
what
mean,
is that? What
again,
is that?
this is what I mean, is that I think that there is an attempt there to try to work out what is going on. All there is just emotion apparently happening. There isn't anyone that emotion is for. It's just what's going on. As soon as that emotion is for someone, it's part of a story, part of my story, and then there's a replaying of that emotion, that story, over and over. It can be, and that seems to
Yes.
be what goes on. That can be what just seems to go on.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a very profound you might say insight with that years ago. And so, but I guess it's arising again, those questions. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks, thank you. Tobias, hi.
Hi, David.
Hi.
So,
How you doing?
so I was wondering, was there suddenly no seeking anymore?
So there was an end to that seeking. Yes, there was seeking, and for what seemed like an apparently long time, and then there was an end to that. Yes.
Could you say that it was like in a moment, or couldn't you say it like that?
Yes, so there was I mean, what seemed to go on here is that there was an apparent moment where that seems to fall away, where the end of that seems to fall away. But that is putting it into a kind of picture as if there was a kind of happening, that
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
happened. But
Like it happened to you.
yes, exactly. But it wasn't in a certain sense. It's the end of happening. It's the end of
Also,
time.
also the end of a moment in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And the me really can't get its head around it. It's impossible to
No,
understand.
no, because I mean, immediately that there's a me, that it's trying to put that, it's trying to look at that in the sense of a part of a story in time. So
Yeah, yeah.
this is why it can't. There's no way of being able to explain this, because it's outside of that way of thinking.
Yeah,
Outside of that.
because I notice it also as well, if I'm listening to you, that suddenly my head starts with like in a way making a projection of myself in a way, like aha, so David is somebody who has lost
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the thing, and then you turn nothing into something. The
Yeah,
me turns nothing into something. It turns total loss into something that that it's trying to get. It's a kind of ridiculous thing. But this is total loss. This is empty. There's nothing here to get.
yeah,
This is just newness. It's just newness. This is just aliveness. It's just what is. It's just this. Just immediacy. Just as it is. Completely as it is. That's the just that's the uh, incredible sort of normalness of this. This is amazing because it's just absolutely normally what is. It's not anything clever or conceptual or something which I need to try to find. It's just already everything. It's already everything. There's nothing needs to be done. Nothing has to be done at all. It's already what it is.
yeah. Yeah, I noticed it also that even subtle, it feels like, yeah, something needs to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
and one more question. So is it really then completely what you never would have expected in the past?
Yeah, well, it's the least thing. It's the least, it's the blind side. It's nothing that you can imagine, because the imagination is always about something. It's
Yeah,
always about trying to get something. So it's imagining a thing, whatever that thing is. It's the fantasy of trying to get somewhere. This is
yeah,
nowhere. This is nowhere. This is nothing. This is not important. This was on a mission to find something very important. I knew that what I had to get, what I had to try to figure out was something which was very, very important that I had missed or that I'd lost or that whatever it was, and I was trying to find it. And it was very important.
yeah.
Actually, in the end, what the recognition is that actually this isn't important. This is the only thing that isn't important. It's the
What a
only thing
relief.
that isn't. It's the only thing that is already everything. And so if it's already everything, it's not a specific thing. It's not something. So that's completely, yeah.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah,
utterly outside of seeking. That is just simply outside of the whole ideology of seeking completely. And so
yeah. Thank you.
you can't creep up on it.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, Johan.
Magnificently ordinary, I would say.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sure.
Was there ever a time when you lost sight of this immediacy?
I mean, well, when there was a me, there was no possibility of there being any kind of recognition of immediacy, because within that contraction, all there is seeking for something. So then, when that seemed to just let go, then all that there is left is immediacy.
Of course, but did it have to or not? Well,
It did. There wasn't after that. It didn't sort of come back
oh,
again. It just that was it, really.
right. Okay, I was just curious because
Yeah.
that could happen, of course.
Yeah, that can seem to go on for certain for people. It seems to be that there can be that, but very often that sort of when there is that sort of that apparent back and forth, to me that it means that there is just still something there that's sort of holding on.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
What you said, David, about so there's a like what appears to be a happening with the collapsing of the sense of being someone is the end of it's the end of moments and the end of happenings.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, it's the end of that, all of that. It's the end of all of that. I mean, of course, all of these things can be talked about. It's not like you can't talk about that anymore. All of these things can be talked about and discussed, and I know very well the language of all of this stuff, right? But what is very clear is that all of that stuff is story, is me weaving a story about an apparent world full of time, full of ideas and fantasies about things, and its stories, and that there is something absolutely and utterly different to that and to what is. What is just simply what is. And there can be stories that seem to go on, but they're just simply stories. So all I really want to say, all this is an expression of, is simply that there is just what is. What is longed for is already everything. It doesn't need to be found or searched for, although it may apparently be that's what exactly what happens, that there can be a seeking. But even that seeking is already what is. Thank you so much for coming, and lovely to see everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Dave.